What up, what up, what up? It's that time. Man, it seems like a while ago since I made one of these. WrestleMania was what now, 4 weeks ago? Jeez, I got this all zoomed in too much. But it's now time for Payback Predictions. This is a kickoff match, pre-show, which means I won't be watching it, which means it's probably going to be about a 5-minute no-nothing match. Enzo and Cash have kind of fallen off the edge with me. They need to come up with a new bit or drop that bit altogether because it's stale and it's turning people off from them. I still like Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I think Gallows works his ass off, especially for a big man Kevin Nash size. He's very impressive in the ring. I still like the club. I can't believe the short shit reign they got. But granted, they lost to the Hardy Boys. Maybe they'll get it back when they split the Hardys up. I don't know. But too much talking on this match. It's going to be pointless. I can maybe see Enzo and Cash winning this because, I don't know, they're pushing them still as a top team, sort of. I haven't watched Raw this week, which I should have probably before I made this video, but I don't have 3 hours right now to kill. So I'm just going to say Enzo and Cash, even though I would prefer the club to win. This right here is very interesting. This is also a pre-show kickoff deal. It's The Miz with Maurice on a very special Miz TV featuring Finn Balor. Now, in most cases, when they do these stupid, well, I shouldn't say stupid, because Miz's stuff has been really good lately. I'm just saying other shows in general, these talk shows in general. Generally, when they set up these little interviews, it usually leads to a feud or a fight. Now, if they're pitting Finn Balor up against The Miz right away, I find that very interesting, and I would say The Miz's stock has risen considerably in someone's eyes in the WWE. He's risen in my eyes. Like I said, he's had a good 2 solid years, and he hasn't really been rewarded with it other than holding another secondary belt that he's already won like 12 times. It's his time to definitely start doing something with his career here. That's why I didn't particularly like that he was moved to Raw, because now he's just going to be, in my eyes, a feeder, a jobber to the upper guys. He was just gaining steam on SmackDown. He was basically a SmackDown hero when they just cut him out and put him on Raw. But I think this could be good for him if this is done right, him facing Finn Balor somewhere down the line, if that's where they're going. Like I said, that's usually what happens. Miz insults somebody gets pissed, they usually deck him, they have a fight. So maybe that's where this is going. Cross your fingers. This match is some freshly needed blood, obviously, in the women's Raw division, with the shakeup of Alexa moving to Raw. I'm shocked she's already going up against Bayley. I could see her winning, but I would be shocked, really, that they would remove the belt off Bayley already and continue on this like weird cycle of just chucking that women's title back and forth between competitors. Really, Alexa Bliss should be working her way towards this belt. I don't think they should really hand it to her. But they want to do this thing where anything can happen now and shock and awe with the fans. Like I said, I haven't seen Raw. I've been following it, but I just didn't get this week's. I'm going to say Bayley wins, retains. I could, like I said, something shocking could happen, but maybe not. So I'm going to pick Bayley over Alexa Bliss. Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. This match, it better deliver. It better be the best match of the freaking card. These guys are the top dogs in my eyes. And this better be a good match. I don't know how many times I've made these videos where you pit 2 guys together and they should be blowing on the roof off the building, and we get some subpar garbage dumpster fire. And that should not be the case with this. Joe is now on Raw. He just debuted. We need to see some fireworks. Rollins is back. He needs to prove himself again on a push to the title. Like I said, I'm excited to see this. This should be a pretty good, brutal fight. Rollins obviously can't do a lot of the moves in his moveset because Joe is huge, and I don't, he's fresh off of a knee surgery or whatever the hell he had. So a lot of those upper body power moves he does on opponents will obviously be out the window on this match. So it's going to be interesting to see how he changes up his arsenal of moves there to try to beat Joe. And Joe, of course, is just an ass-kicking machine, so this should be, like I said, a 5-star match. And it better be. Damn, I want to say Seth Rollins, but for some reason I don't know. Kevin Owens gets involved, Triple H gets involved. There's just too many what-ifs. Maybe he wins by DQ. I don't know. It's hard to say. I like both of these guys. That's why, I don't know. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Joe wins and they continue the feud. Maybe Rollins wins by, like I said, by disqualification, and they still continue the feud. God, it would be kind of hard for me to say that this is a straight-out win for Rollins, but you never know. I'm going to pick Rollins. But I'm old school. I just threw out all the cards on the table of what potentially can happen. So don't be too shocked if any of that does happen. But like I said, this match better deliver. Now, the build-up to this match has been excellent. I would say Braun Strowman is probably the biggest baby face on Raw right now. He can do no wrong. He gets probably some of the best crowd reactions on TV at the moment. Especially on the red brand. He really should go over Roman Reigns here. What does it cost Roman if he loses here? Nothing. He doesn't have a title. He's not, granted he just beat The Undertaker. They're not going to have him beat The Undertaker and then in the next freaking pay-per-view lose to Braun Strowman. At least logically, you would say that. But Braun, I think, is supposed to be his contemporary. I think that's how they're trying to do this. They're trying to show that Braun can compete, he can hang with him, and that maybe he's even a little bit more dangerous. So, because I would say Braun Strowman, but yeah, like I said, he just beat The Undertaker. How can you have the guy who toppled The Undertaker lose to Braun Strowman? Unless you had Braun Strowman earlier in the year beat up The Undertaker, but they didn't do that. Undertaker was supposed to fight him last year at WrestleMania, and they didn't do it. They skipped out. So, I don't know. I think too much on this shit. I'm just going to say Braun Strowman wins, or Roman Reigns wins by DQ because, of course, Braun Strowman just goes crazy and beats the crap out of him again. Maybe this time he tips a fire truck over. I don't know. so that's maybe how I see Roman winning, but I'm going to say Braun Strowman. Now, this is good to see that these guys are continuing their feud. I never did. I know WrestleMania's on YouTube. I never went back and watched it. I already know who won. I'm sure it was probably one of the best matches. It was probably in the top 3 matches of the night. So I'm kind of glad this is getting another run around. The feud's continuing. I want to see it on pay-per-view this Sunday. A lot of people, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people really know what Austin Aries can do. Austin Aries is a legit wrestler. He's a top contender in all cruiserweight, middleweight, whatever. He's the next heavyweight champion, cruiserweight champion, TNA X Division champion. I don't think there isn't a title he didn't win in TNA. He's won just about everything. He was a Ring of Honor champ. He's won everywhere he's went. Yes, Neville is very talented, but to me, Austin Aries kills him. So, but either way, this should be a very good match. I predicted at WrestleMania that Aries was probably going to beat him, but I did find it a little weird that if they were going to keep pushing Neville as the Brock Lesnar of the cruiserweights, how could you have him lose to Austin Aries at WrestleMania? But now this isn't WrestleMania. This is Payback. So, I'm gonna say Austin Aries wins this. This match. What is a House of Horrors match? People don't know. Apparently there was a House of Horror match back in the day in WCW, and it was supposed to be quite a cluster F. I've heard it might be a multi-cage structure. I've read it, a lot of it's pre-taped, and it won't even be in the arena for most of the match. And at some point they'll wrestle their way or brawl their way down to the ring, and that's where the match will end. I've read it's supposed to be a lot of weird, freaky stuff like what we saw at WrestleMania. I've read a bunch of stuff. I read a lot of stuff. So it's hard to report how this is going to go or what we're even going to be looking at. I doubt they're copying what TNA does when they do what Abyss is especially. It's not a House of Horrors. But it's something horror match. And all it is like a cage with a bunch of weapons in it. So I don't really see that happening in this PG era bullshit that we get spoon-fed. I could probably see what I read. I've read it on a few sites. Yeah, it's probably going to be a bunch of pre-taped stuff off-site somewhere, and they brawl their way back into the stadium. That's probably going to be what it is. Would be cool if they start off on the Wyatt compound. But, you know, isn't the Wyatt compound in Florida? Where is this match supposed to be taking place? That'd be a little far-fetched. So, I don't really get this match because, you know, obviously... Oh, no, Bray Wyatt... Yeah, because Bray Wyatt's on Raw now, and Randy's the SmackDown champion. They're just doing this, obviously, just to keep this feud going another month longer. Because, you know, there's not enough wrestlers on their levels to keep stuff going. They're still working out who's going to replace who on both brands for top-level guys. I'm not going to get into that right now. So supposedly they still are going to go on with the draft. I'll just leave it at that. But how do you have a guy who's on Raw and a guy on SmackDown fighting? I don't know. So obviously Randy Orton's going to retain because if the draft happens... Well, the draft did happen, I think, in May last year, right? Well, we're coming up on May. So, who knows? I don't see it happening, though, because then we would have two champions on Raw for a few weeks. So, I'm just going to say Randy Orton retains and Bray Wyatt bites the bullet. So, and if you didn't hear, Bray Wyatt is supposed to be very upset with the company right now because he was told he was going over Randy Orton at WrestleMania. At one point, and then he was told he was going to lose to Randy, but he was going to get the title back at SummerSlam and have an even longer feud. And obviously that's not going to happen because he's on Raw. So supposedly Bray Wyatt is not a happy camper, and I wouldn't be either. He's a top dog. He's earned his spot, and I wouldn't like to be jerked around like that. I really doubt they jerk Randy or Triple H or Cena or anybody else like that, but granted, they've got a few more years on him, but still. He's going to be your next top talent here, and you're jerking him around like that. It ain't right. But anyway, Randy over Bray. I know, it sucks. This match. Not really excited for it. I'm shocked that Cesaro and Sheamus are still a tag team, to be honest with you. I mean, Sheamus should be main eventing. They pushed him for so long as a top guy. He's basically been just sitting in the mid-card now for years. He was supposed to be the leader of the United Nations or whatever the hell that group was, and it was supposed to push him back into the top of the main event, and they obviously buried that group. I would have rather have seen the club fight the Hardy Boys again, but I know they already gave them their freaking rematch on Raw the next night. Do I see Sheamus and Cesaro winning? No. I see the Hardys maybe hanging on to the titles another month or two, and then they're going to split them up. And supposedly, that's going to be the rebirth of Broken Matt Hardy. And he's going to go on to supposedly be a main event or top guy of Raw. Now, I don't know why they would do that and take Jeff out of the equation. Jeff could be world champion. Matt could be world champion. still be broken Matt Hardy? What do you think could be something that breaks him? Fighting his brother, just like they did in TNA. I'm assuming they're going to break Matt Hardy somewhere down the line when maybe they lose these titles. But Jeff and Matt were such a big part of that storyline. I don't know really how you can do it without them, without Jeff on the same brand. And yes, when they split them up, the rumor is they will each be on opposite brands. So, because they see Jeff as a top star, and they see Matt Hardy as a budding potential main eventer as well. So, I don't know. Why mess with something that works? Write it out first. I would say write it out first. Let them do their thing before you split them up. But whatever. I don't think broken Matt Hardy would be quite as exciting by himself. But you know, what do I know? Is he going to bring? Are they going to bring Reby in? Are they going to bring Axel? Are they going to bring Senior Benjamin, Vanguard 1, all that stuff? I'm still pretty pissed that they haven't yet. I mean, how do you bring them in and they're back to the old Hardy Boy music? Doing the old Hardy Boy signs and moves. Yeah, it's nostalgic, but it's kind of WTF. I mean, you just took the hottest tag team next to maybe the Young Bucks, not in the WWF, and you turned them back into 1999, the Hardy Boys. I don't know. Hopefully it works out. I've always liked the Hardys, but I've always kind of rooted for Matt more. I always thought he was the more talented wrestler, and people are probably, what, right now saying that, but he was obviously the brains behind the group. Jeff was the spot monkey, and I give Jeff props. He's an amazing wrestler, but I've always liked Matt. I don't know why. So I would really like to see him get his due. When he was on SmackDown in his last run, and he was just levitating in the mid-card, I don't know, it drove me insane. People were bringing signs to the stadiums constantly, make Matt Hardy world champ. So I wasn't the only one who felt that way. But anyway, I'm ranting here. I'm just going to say the Hardys retain. Like I said, maybe they lose farther down the line, and that's the reason Matt gets broken. We'll see. But I think it would just be a shame if they come back right now and they lose to Sheamus and Cesaro. So I'm going to say Hardys. This match I am also excited for. I think this should be a very good payoff match. This should be up there right with Rollins and Samoa Joe. I know Jericho can perform, and I'm pretty high on Owens. Obviously, with Jericho supposedly leaving after this, I don't see how it can continue to keep signing these contracts when he was supposed to be like touring with his band months ago. They must be really throwing some good-ass money at Jericho to keep him to re-signing. That should be a question people ask, like PWI or something. What type of money is Jericho being paid right now? And it still pisses me off that he is not, like, in the main event. Why is he... Like, what was it? When Rollins went down, they put the title on Triple H, and the excuse was because they had nobody else to put it on. Jericho was there, and he's younger and more agile, and he was certainly able to defend the title. All Triple H did was hold the title for 3 months and did nothing with it. Why wasn't Jericho given the belt? He would have been a hell of a lot more entertaining. Like I said, I don't think they use him properly, but he does get top-notch storylines. He just isn't in the position in the company where I think he is. But like I said, I would be very curious to know what they're paying him. Because I know he likes rocking his band more than he likes wrestling. And he keeps shitting on his band to stick around. He was supposed to be gone after last year's SummerSlam. And he's still here. So that tells you something. He signs for like a month or two, 3 months tops, and then he re-signs again. He does like month-to-month contracts. So they must be like offering him some good-ass money. Now, of course, this feud was done very well, too. And it carried on into WrestleMania, obviously, and this is probably going to be the fallout match. And like I said, with Jericho supposedly leaving, it makes perfect sense that he ain't winning, right? So, obviously, Kevin Owens would win, and supposedly he's going to move on potentially into a feud with AJ Styles over the U.S. title, which also has me scratching my head. Why is AJ Styles now a mid-carder? But whatever, we'll see if that happens. So I'm predicting Owens over Jericho.